welcome to another episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
This is Season 4, Episode 12.
Or Episode 82 if you're counting.
And it's been another week.
Yes, it has.
As usually happens here.
7 days pass, and then we do another show.
And yeah, we're here!
Yay!
Okay,
Alright.
I want to, once again, as usual, thank our Patreon contributors over on patreon.com/MarsGirl. Want to thank Oliver, who I believe is a returning patron to the $10 level, so thank you again very much for contributing once more to be able to continue making shows such as this happen. And you're going to get free access to all those commentary tracks. That's going to be awesome.
Yes. And we still have that other one coming, Justice League Throne of Atlantis. Atlantis. Yes, you go to the dentist in Atlantis. Yeah. Which should be out hopefully by the end of the week. Aside from that, what's going on?
What is going on?
I can tell you what's going on.
Did we do... We're about to monster hunt.
That's right.
Yeah,
I've got my 2DS charged up. I'm ready to hunt.
Classic 3DS. I really wanted that new 3DS, but I don't see myself saving that much money for the new 3DS.
That having been said, though, this game looks amazing.
Everyone is saying it's the best Monster Hunter that has Monster Hunted, and I'm really excited about it. Tomorrow night, we're going to be getting together with a whole bunch of friends, and we're going to be hunting monsters together, getting armor. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be so cool. I'm so excited.
But I'm getting a leg up this time. See, last time I was kind of new to Monster Hunter, getting 3. This time, I'm not working tomorrow. I'm just going to be going at it. That Rathalos armor is mine this time.
Okay, good luck to you.
Although I'm not sure if I'm going to keep my weapon, though. I might change weapons.
I like hammers.
I know. You weren't going to change hammers for anybody.
I like hammers and axes.
Yes.
Great axes.
Well, because I started out with twin blades, and then I decided, no, that wasn't me, and then I went over to bow and arrow, and now I'm thinking maybe I'll use one of those 2 new weapons. Maybe.
Well, let's see how good you are with them. Supposedly, they're not overpowered weapons.
Right,
we'll
right.
See.
But we'll see. That will come with practice, and I plan on getting a lot of practice.
Yeah, and you'll get more practice in than me, since tomorrow I do still work,
Sorry.
Unfortunately. This midnight release is gonna kill me tomorrow. I swear.
Please don't die.
I'll do my best, because we gotta have that Monster Hunter party. So.
Because we gotta do that. Well, that won't be till later in the evening, so it'll help.
What?
I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go. Just.
What else is going on?
What else is going on? There were clouds in the sky.
Okay, you know what? Let's talk about what stories we're gonna talk about
we need
today.
to talk about our stories because we've got a pretty big show.
Yeah. So.
First and foremost,
yesterday was a special Law and Order SVU episode that seemed to sort of be tailored around Gamergate. We got the opportunity to watch said episode.
Very special.
Very special episode. I'm gonna kind of tie that into... Thanks, Kat. I'm gonna tie that into some other TV series that have covered similar nerd yet publicly social topics. So that'll be very interesting commentary on the subject.
Our second story of the evening, we'd been waiting, like I said, for press conference material to come out. Now finally there's plenty of material to work with, so we're going to be talking about the next upcoming entrant into the Super Sentai series, Shuriken Sentai Ninninger. We're going to talk about the characters and some of the potential rumors and mechs they're going to get down the road.
And then finally, Spider-Man is coming home, at least for a little while. It kind of seems like he's on rental, hard to tell.
Hey, it's still, we're ready. He's coming home to Marvel, baby.
So Sony has, at least temporarily, who knows how long, given Spider-Man back to Marvel, and we get to talk about what that means for the Marvel Cinematic Universe now that Spider-Man is allowed to come back home to his family.
Yes. The one thing Spider-Man needs now to actually have quality time with family, which he never actually gets because some people don't like writing him happy.
Very sad.
Very sad.
But we have other follow-ups that are better than sad.
Yes.
Right?
I have a lot of follow-ups, yes.
And they're not sad, right?
No, well, depending on
they're
what
not
makes
like
you
Peter Parker sad, right?
No,
Okay.
they're not Peter Parker sad. They're like, well, given, relationship through Marvel characters.
Okay, you know what? Let's just dig in.
Yeah, I'll dig in. Deadpool.
Okay.
Deadpool. Actually, 1 year from today, the movie is set to come out.
Ooh, sounds good. So, that means they've been hard at work, huh? If
Well,
it's
they've at
coming out
least
that
been
quick?
at least been in the planning stages for a while now.
Well,
and
that
today,
means that they're gonna film and edit within this year?
well, if you think about it, you take something like the next James Bond movie, it's set to come out later this year, and they're filming now. Like,
Oh, if
it's
they
a
think
pretty
they
quick
can pump it out
turnover.
pretty quick, then alright, whatever.
Well, point being, Ryan Reynolds tweeted a picture earlier today of the Deadpool mask, which looks 100% like Deadpool. Like, it looks exactly like, if you guys have seen the footage that was leaked onto the internet of the test run of him as Deadpool, it looks just like that. Which, of course, looked just like Deadpool. So,
Which I think that's fine.
yeah, that's
Perfectly
perfect.
perfect. Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is a good week for comic book news as far as that goes. You know, if we're going to have, you know, this property in the right hands with the right actor playing him and not playing Hal Jordan anymore, then I think we're going to be safe. It's going to be good.
Okay,
Hopefully.
I trust you.
And a little bit of interesting news, there's a suit actor by the name of Yoshifumi Oshikawa. Now, this guy has been in a number of roles, one of the biggest roles in recent years being the Imogen Deneb from Kamen Rider Den-O. He's been suit acting for several years.
Three severals, that's a lot of severals.
That is a lot of severals. He's actually currently playing our Tokyo Ichigo on Tokyuger, which is ending this weekend. And he's announced that he's going to bring his suit acting career to an end.
Does he say why?
Yes, he's actually doing it to spend more time with his family.
Okay,
To
well
be a better father.
that's noble.
That is pretty noble.
That's perfectly understandable. Sounds good for me.
Yeah.
Like, I get that.
Yeah, and the thing about it, though, is when it comes to suit acting, because you remember we looked this up a while back, suit acting is not an easy craft to get into.
Oh, no, not
You
at
have
all.
to do years and years of training.
And you gotta start young.
internships.
Yeah.
And you gotta start young. And, you know, this guy getting out really at the peak of his career, really. He just finished rapping for this new Kamen Rider 3 Tyson GP, whatever the movie's called, coming out playing Deneb, I guess for the last time, really.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So I
Unless
guess
he
he's
decides to come back for, like, little cameos here and there.
Yeah, but it's nice, you know, if you're gonna end your career, you're ending it on a high note.
I'd say that's a pretty high note, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, good for him. Hope he has many, many fun years with his family. Next up, we have actually, in accordance with that, some rumors about Drive coming up. They've confirmed that the next suits, types, rather as they're called in the series, will be Type Formula, followed by Type Trideron, which is named after the car he has. And they've leaked some set pics of Type Formula today, and in personal opinion, it looks completely and utterly ugly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just... I like the series well enough, just the way certain things are equipped exactly the best, but the story's making up for that. And also they're confirming that there is a Kamen Rider Chaser character coming in. Gee, I wonder who that's gonna be.
I don't know.
Might be the guy with the name Chaser. I don't know. Maybe.
I haven't been watching the show.
I know you haven't. You might catch up. Maybe. Probably not. So we have that to look forward to later on this year.
I typically would not make a shout out to the chat during the show because typically we save that for the Q&A afterward, but I want to say hello to Dr. Angry Ed right now just because Dr. Angry Ed has said they created the account just to be able to join the chat. And
that's nice.
So I think that's very nice. I usually wouldn't stop the show for something like that, but I thought that was nice. So, hi, good to see you.
Hi.
Let's keep going.
Okay, so next thing, a little more in your taste.
Right.
So Square Enix is doing some weird moves here. First off, they've trademarked Squaresoft and Enix, the brand names,
as two separate entities.
Now, when you think about that, like, why would they do that? That's what came together to make Square Enix to begin with.
There's two things that I would think there are two possible reasons they could be doing this. One, so that they can, better brand, because like I had this talk with people in my Final Fantasy III stream last night. And it was somebody came in and was like, "Man, somebody else should just come in and buy Square Enix. Somebody else could control it way better than Square is doing it." And I was like, well, you have to realize, even though Square Enix is one entity now, the Enix part goes over here and does its own thing, and the Square part goes over here and does its own thing.
Right.
And Square continues to just be its own self-contained entity running around like chickens with their heads cut off, while Enix is still doing a pretty decent job with Dragon Quest. So I'm wondering now if they're like, well, you know, we've got same umbrella ownership, but we really are still like separate entities. Why don't we just give the Squaresoft title back to the Square developers? You guys can have that. Because they didn't take the IDOS title away from IDOS. I mean, they put Square Enix on their box covers and stuff.
Just put my name on it. Just put my name on it.
Yeah, but...
You guys build it, just put my name on it.
But the Enix branch still functions as Enix, you know, it's the same Enix dudes working on Tomb Raider, the IDOS branch is still doing Tomb Raider, Hitman, so even though you see the Square Enix logo in the corner, it's that same development branch.
Right.
So I'm wondering if that's one reason that could be.
The other thing being tied to that is that...
you didn't let me finish.
Oh, okay.
There are two reasons that could have been.
Okay, what is number 2?
Number 2 is that Square Enix is falling the hell apart.
I would sooner believe that.
I would like to sooner believe that. Unfortunately, I can't.
Okay. Well, in accordance with that, they also seem to have a new game that they're going to be promoting actually tomorrow here, but really today for them, at the Japan Amusement Expo, which is some sort of a amalgamation of a con for prize games, arcade games, print club sticker machines, different machines like that, and they have a game to premiere there that they haven't given out information on, so probably we'll tell you more about that next week.
Right, but I'm looking at this screenshot, right, and I wish I could show this to you guys. In fact, if you want to at least share the link with the chat. Usually sharing the image does not work with the chat. I would suggest sharing the full link. But the image shows...
There it is.
Yes, some people will not be able to see it. The image shows a whole bunch of classic Squaresoft Final Fantasy characters. It even includes Mr. Chupon! Funga!
Funga!
And I'm just wondering what arcade game can you make out of this? I'm really scared it's gonna turn into All the Bravest, the arcade touchscreen game.
Oh no!
Like, I would first see that happening. Well, because
you think about it, you go to places,
too cheap.
You go to places like Main Event now, and they've got like, what is it, Doodle Jump? You know, and a touchscreen game, but large. So would you really put it past Square Enix?
I would not.
To make just a large touchscreen arcade version of All the Bravest.
I really would not put it past.
Really, instead of All the Bravest, it's All the Cheapest because they didn't have to do any work.
No, they did not. They might have you use this little unlockable card, as Japanese arcades are known to do, and then you go back and you're spending all this money like, I'm gonna unlock all these characters, I'm gonna save the data on my card. Oh, it better not be a nightmare like that. I'm scared it's gonna be a nightmare.
Well, let's talk about things that aren't nightmares. In another bit of very interesting news, it's being reported through multiple outlets that Netflix is working on a Legend of Zelda series.
We considered making this a full story, but,
We're not sure yet. They're still going back and forth on, well, they are doing it, or Nintendo hasn't exactly signed off on it. These are conflicting reports now. Really what they're saying is Nintendo has a no-comment status as far as this project is concerned, which makes me wonder, did somebody jump the gun? Were they still in talks about this? Because admittedly...
Which means it could be a very real conversation that was held.
Right.
So it's probably based in some sort of reality. Who knows how good this could possibly be? I'm scared that Link would speak, and thanks to the 1980s cartoon series, we all know why it is that Link does not speak. That and the, the 3DO game. I wonder what Ganon's up to.
Well, Nintendo officially said, we will not comment on the rumors or speculations, meaning they want to give out solid information. So that's fine, that's fine. But the thing is, a lot of people got really, really excited when this was announced. So there's a market for this, obviously. People want to see The Legend of Zelda come to life. You remember...
Oh, CDI, you're absolutely right. It was CDI, not 3DO.
What was it, 6 years ago when that April Fool's prank trailer came out?
People were fooled way too quickly by that, right?
Like, I wasn't fooled by that. Like, no, this...
Like
this
it
is
looked
all wrong.
like it looked good enough for a fan to have made.
Right.
And it was cool, but it wasn't,
It wasn't like Hollywood quality.
No.
But it's possible for them to do a series. We just like to wait for a little more solid information before we run with that. In other news, they've confirmed the voice cast for Mighty Number 9, which of course we've talked about a number of times.
Because we were backers.
We're backers. We're waiting for our copies. Just to name a few names here, Yuri Lowenthal, who people know from Gurren Lagann, Naruto,
lots of anime.
will be playing Beck, Mighty Number 9. Matt Mercer will be playing Mighty Number 1.
That's a cosplayer turned voice actor right there.
Yeah, I've worked with the guy before several times. Great guy. He's in a ton of stuff. The guy you can't help but hear, Steve Blum, is Mighty Number 8.
I'm surprised Steve Blum isn't Mighty Number 1, Number 2, Number 3, Number 4, all with different voice filters.
Yeah. you would imagine that. Fred Tescator, who people know as the Hulk in most places, is Mighty Number 4. And the list goes on from there. So, yeah, they're moving forward with this game.
Sounds good.
They recorded their parts 2 months ago, so it's in the can.
Oh, so they're done. Oh,
yeah, they're done.
Well,
they're ready to go.
That sounds closer than I thought.
Yeah, so I'm very happy to see how much this is moving forward, and I still can't wait to get a hold of my copy once it comes out.
Right.
Because the hype is real. There's an interesting thing, and this isn't a story just to talk about. You've heard us talk about Gotham several times on this show. I'll admit it's a guilty pleasure because it's not my favorite, because right now my favorite's The Flash.
Yeah, because Gotham sucks. I'm sorry, Josh.
As an example, next week they are teasing that they will reveal the Joker on Gotham.
Can we not?
Can we not? Yeah.
Can we
because
not?
Let's think about it here. Anybody worth half their salt who knows anything about the Joker knows he doesn't have one set solid origin. The closest you get is the whole thing
which would mean, why isn't it okay for them to make yet another origin when he has 80 bajillion?
I know, but it's the whole thing of, yeah, I'll agree with you, Angry, too soon. Because you think about it, you can't go more than 2 episodes in this series.
Or more like too early?
Well, yeah, that too, but the whole thing of every other episode in this season, the first season, they're giving you, hey, Penguin, hey, Catwoman, hey, Poison Ivy, hey, Scarecrow, hey, like, they're throwing characters in your faces over and over again.
Riddler!
Yeah, I know, and it's too much.
It is too much.
Too
it's
fast.
Way too much.
And I'm
too early.
My guess is it's probably a red herring, because I don't think they'd shoot themselves in the foot that quick and solidify the Joker. I would hope.
Yeah, but it's like the only thing that makes some of these characters not already be the villains that they're supposed to become is like a change of scenery or a change in how heavy they are,
or a change of clothing.
Yeah, that's literally all that distinguishes them from becoming the villain with the villain name. In some cases, the villain already has their damn villain name.
Like Penguin.
Like the Penguin. It's freaking stupid. It's too bad.
He's already the Penguin. His club already has the umbrella logo on the outside. And like, okay, if you're gonna give him a club in season 1 and you're not gonna call it the Iceberg Lounge, what the hell? Like, if you're gonna do it, commit to it, and just go ahead and give us everything right off the bat, and then we can get right to it. But yeah.
Is that it? Are we done?
Well, no. One other thing related to Batman. I promise this will be the last one.
All right.
Related to Batman is there's been a trailer released for Batman Unlimited Animal Instincts, which is this.
The hell is that?
You know that stupid Batman toy line that you see at Target and Walmart where everything's really extreme looking?
And really buffed out, and they have all these accessories that you're like, where the hell did he get that? Like, why does Batman have this jetpack? Which I'm sure at some point he's had a jetpack, but like,
yeah.
Like, really, why?
Yeah, well, that toy line got a direct-to-DVD movie.
What? No!
Yes.
No! Who let them?
Warner Brothers.
No! No!
Now, admittedly, they haven't said outright, but just from a keen ear, Batman is being played by the same guy who played him in Arkham Origins, so at least he sounds like Batman.
He sounds like a Batman we know, I guess.
Yes, but the thing is, this doesn't look very good. Like, I think this is actually kind of a backdoor pilot to having a television series of this pop up.
Why?
But
no, please.
the thing about it is, like, he has
all this... his face looks awful!
And the thing about it is...
No!
you think about the toy line, like, oh, we've known toy lines forever. You know, they just give them stupid accessories, like you said, and they just kind of have that. Well, the thing is, he has all the accessories in the movie. He uses them. All the different capes and jetpacks.
At least he has a reason for those toys to exist now, but he shouldn't have them.
Yeah, I know. It's like, really? Do you need all this stuff? I mean, come on. Like, you used to get by with, like, 3 batarangs and some rope. Like, what happened to the cutback days?
It's like giving Mighty Morphin Power Rangers motorcycles, which they totally did have in Zeo Ranger, but when did they use them in Power Rangers?
One episode. And it's not even one episode, it's really an accident.
Okay, shut up.
No, it was one episode where they showed them showing up on the bikes, but they never actually really used them.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's that sort of thing.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
so we can get on to our first story, which is... I told you I was going to have that ready.
Yeah, I know. Hi, Law and Order. So, yeah, let's get down to business. This was apparently trying really hard to move...
In the criminal justice system.
No, please stop.
Alright, fine.
It was dancing really hard around the subject of Gamergate. Now, the thing they did not address was what was supposedly the start of Gamergate, which was ethics in video game...
You can't do it? You can't do it?
Ethics in...
It's okay.
Ethics
in video game journalism.
Okay, so it has the episode has nothing to do with journalism.
Well, right? No, it's kind of got to do with more the allegations of, oh, well, this make-believe character in this episode, she only got ahead because she slept with somebody.
Which kind of takes that core element from how the one little spark caught to the whole Gamergate debacle.
Yeah.
This episode retained elements of truth in what's going on in Gamergate without, need I remind you guys, they don't actually ever use the term Gamergate throughout the episode, ever at all. So there's elements of truth in it, but then they go way super fantasy fictionalized, we've turned this into...
a television show.
Oh yeah, it's super dramatized, super dramatization.
The funny part is, like, out of all the characters, you picked Finn, you picked Ice-T to be your representative for gamer culture.
I've been playing games for 20 years. I go home and I can just shoot whoever I want without having to blah 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 blah. So do you need to play video games right now? Are you that addicted? Like they've really painted. Again, as media does, painted gaming as this really weird, uncontrollable subculture.
Well, see, that's kind of the problem with the episode, because, you know, and some of you guys are hitting the nail on the head there. It's like the writers only did the bare minimum amount of investigation into, okay, what are we going to make this episode about? And rather than make it about the one thing, the problem that became a little bigger... It's kind of like they took a snapshot of the internet as a whole and tried to stick all of that in one episode.
So what I love, right, is it's not just Ice-T's character, but he does this a lot. And a lot of other characters were doing it too. It was like every time they had some sort of gaming-related acronym, somebody would be like, what's that? And then Ice-T'd have to come in and be like, oh, doxing. Well, that's when, you know, somebody gets their home address posted up on the internet, and I'm just like, they threw out doxing, they threw out swatting. Like
swatting was part of the episode.
Swatting was part of the episode. A female video game developer is about to launch a video game that, well, you can choose whether to be a warring nation or a peaceful nation. Oh, and by the way, all the video games that they showed in this episode, they're of course fake, and they look so bad.
Like, you may
they
have
look
heard
like
of...
the worst video games developed in 2015.
These video games look bad being developed in 2002.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. They're maybe PS2 good. Maybe.
Nah, I don't know about that. I'm thinking PS1 port to PS2 good.
Oh, no, it's not that vectored. It's not that bad.
It was kind of bad.
It was kind of bad, though. So, So I guess these guys on the internet are like, oh, we don't like ladies dictating what kind of games we can play or having any sort of input on blah, 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 blah. So basically, Anonymous shows up. They don't call him Anonymous.
But they're basically anonymous.
But what I loved was the forum they created. It was Red Channel.
Red Channel.
Which was a combination of Reddit and 4chan. Oh my god.
Which is why I'm saying, they just kind of tossed everything about the internet into a bucket, mixed it a little, and went like, here's your script.
And so, yeah, they start talking about, there's these women, they're getting all these threats, they're getting death and rape threats, and I'm like, okay, that part's kind of real right now. Then it gets to the part where the lady's having the press conference on launch day of her video game, right? And then, boom, 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 lights are flashing, and there's this guy yelling about bitches on the internet, and then suddenly she's gone, and then they go and they rape her live on the internet, and then like, whoa, and they're just standing there watching this live stream going,
like, who would do that? Like, and then kind of the outlandish way, they've hacked the security system and the soundboard and the light board.
And it was really overly fantasized and ludicrous, and because let's say this much about Gamergate. Gamergate is threatening in that, they'll dox somebody, and that's kind of scary. The threats, death and rape threats, not friggin' cool.
Right.
But I honestly don't see it go, like, there's too much cowardice, because it's easy to do cyber warfare behind a keyboard. It's the same kind of cowardice, like swatting is cowardice, I feel. We just saw a news story on Kotaku just earlier this week about a guy who got swatted, and there were, the SWAT team came up and pointed guns at this dude's, like, 9-10-year-old brother who answered the door. Like, oh my god, that's ludicrous.
But the thing to take it back to, and some of you guys are, coming to the same conclusion, is that there seems to be this prevalence in mass media of, if I don't understand a niche topic, then the best thing I can do is try to demonize it because I don't understand it as a writer.
Right, and there are two other examples of this. Both came from CSI. And one was released in 2003, an episode known as Fur and Loathing, which tried to think it knew what furry culture was, which, it kind of demonized it in that thinking every furry is a fursuiter, or that every furry is, like, super hypersexualized, and, like, let's not kid ourselves, those people exist. But take, for example, like, I'm about to take a panel to Furry Fiesta next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. And I'm looking over the schedule, right? And there's things that, like, anybody could join in. Like, there's karaoke, there's how to build your own sound studio, there's sound for animations, and writing 101 and 201, and like, stuff that just people can use. And yes, there is the adult stuff, but it's like this corner over here, and not the whole pool, Similarly, once again, CSI also covered role-playing and cosplaying in an episode about Second Life.
Right.
And they sort of had this weird interpretation in their head of what cosplaying was, that it also was hypersexualized, and that Second Life was entirely hypersexualized, and that you go in there solely to fantasy RP, which is also, again, not the case.
And the thing is, I was just watching an episode of Luther last week, where in season 2, really a two-parter, you've got two brothers killing people based off D20 rolls. The thing about it is, how many people actually do this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
None. We've got any number of terrible murders and killings that have happened just this week that you can read about in the news, but most of them are not related to somebody's fandom or somebody's dislike of somebody who created a game. That's what makes this fiction.
Right.
But the thing is, people at large will see this not knowing that, semi-normal people or normal people play these things, experience these things, and think, oh my god, gaming is horrible! And then it becomes this bigger argument.
You know what's funny, though, is the episode of Law and Order SVU that was just on last night, even so much as said, oh, these guys couldn't separate the video game world from reality. And you know what? People watching SVU will not be able to differentiate the two themselves. That's the ironic part.
Right.
Is that they're gonna think, oh, this is what it is, and all these people are like that. No. Because
I'll tell you right now, as far as gaming is concerned, as far as gamers are concerned, like we said, we're going to go to a GameStop to go pick up Monster Hunter tonight. And a lot of people are going to be there already, bringing their 3DSs to play, Smash or something.
Probably their previous version of Monster Hunter,
or that too.
actually.
You know what they're going to be doing the whole time? This.
Yeah.
That's
Seriously.
it. Nobody's getting hurt there. And admittedly, I'm not the biggest furry fan either, but they're nice enough people for the most part. Nobody's trying to hurt anybody.
Because despite what they might think themselves internally, they're people just like you and me. Of course, some might argue that that's the difference between being a furry and being an otherkin, but that's a completely that's going down a completely
we're not even
different
getting
tunnel.
into that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when you look, and the thing about it too is, not only is this not being able to distinguish between fiction and reality as far as gamers and gaming is concerned, the lines people had to deliver, there's no reset button on reality. We both thought, didn't we hear that in a PSA from Jonathan Taylor
Thomas back in the 90s, yeah. Or lines about, when the first chick in the bathroom stall gets assaulted and she runs him off, and the policewoman comes in and they're like, okay, are you okay? Can you tell me what happened? And she's looking at herself in the mirror and she is like, they just leveled up. What does that even mean? I would think that meant that they scored.
Yeah.
But apparently they didn't, because all they did was kind of rough her up and then she chased them out.
It's like...
that was all wrong. One, it was lame. Two, it was all wrong. So, the episode was just super sensationalized, as the media, again, is prone to do.
And then, at the end of the episode, with the first-person view on the guns,
oh
what
my
was
God,
that?
The FPS mode.
I didn't know, I went in watching SVU, I came out watching Doom? How did that happen?
That was pretty awful.
That was kind of awful.
Pretty awful.
I just hope there's no new major gaming malfunction that gets posted everywhere on the internet. That way we don't have to put up with another of those episodes. I don't want to watch an episode of Castle, and Castle has to investigate gamers. I don't want to see that. I don't need that. We don't need Gil Grissom on this either. Ice-T, no, go chill with your wife Coco. It's cool. We're all good here. Let's keep it separate, all right? I think the only reason they did the episode even at all to begin with was, oh, well, it got enough attention, I guess we should cover it. Just kind of they're covering their bases.
Well, because SVU is typically topical, right?
Well, usually.
Something will come up, terrorism this, or bombing that, and then they have to go and make an episode about it. Because
anthrax here, bomb threat over here, yeah.
Because that's how they get ratings, because people are like, that! I heard about that in the news, and now they're making an episode out of it. Now I understand what's going on, let's watch. And that's how they get their ratings numbers.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. Super hyper sensationalism over things that are kind of sort of real, but then they go way, way into the wrong territory.
Yes.
Oh, it really kind of killed it to think, and I'm spoiling the end of the episode here, but essentially Gamergate wins, because the chick gets raped and assaulted, and then she quits developing video games.
If you were going to tackle it, at least you could have gone at it from an aspect of, well, maybe there's still some hope, but no. Even if they got arrested, they won.
Yeah.
Granted, there's episodes like that, but when this is based off something that for some people is still going on, that's kind of terrible in my opinion.
I think we've gone on long enough about this topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Show the people that we're done with this topic.
Fine.
Okay, moving on. I had to throw that in there. Okay, so moving on to our second topic. As you guys can see here, these are the members of Shuriken Sentai Ninninger, which
Yellow's kind of blocked back there, but
Yellow's a dude again for the first time in years.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, for the first time since Hurricaneger, the Yellow member is actually a dude. Yes. So, Tokuger, having been pushed back another week because of events happening in Japan, will be ending this weekend. These guys will be starting up in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can tell, their motif this year is ninja, yet again, for the third time, with their precedents being Kakuranger many, many years ago, and then, as I just mentioned, Hurricaneger. This show seems to be blending a lot of different ideas together. The producers have said they're kind of going for broke that, yeah, we're ninjas, so what? We're going to show off. They're going to be very showy ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
Which is to say they haven't done that before. Hurricaneger had kind of a very showy feel to it, very classic feel. The opening theme has already been released online. It's kind of catchy.
It's very traditional Japanese ninja sounding and yet pop kind of, to be very modern.
Yeah, there's apparently a dance that goes along with it, as some Sentai have, and this was developed by the people responsible for dance related to Yokai Watch, so they know where they're going for popularity.
Right.
And of course, Yokai Watch being that anime that's blowing up over there and might blow up over here.
Yeah, because they did get it licensed over here, right?
Yes, they did.
Okay, that's gonna be scary to watch explode.
Yes. Come to think of it, when it comes to their mech, their robots, their Megazords as we would call them over here, again, the producer's saying, every year we stick to a motif where everything's an animal, or everything's a car, or everything's,
a
humanoid.
dinosaur!
A dinosaur, like we just had or have over here now. This time they said, you know what? Do all of them. So their mech, their Megazord this year,
one's a car,
well,
one is a full-fledged ninja?
No, one's a ninja.
One's a whole person's ninja, robot-sized, running like this.
Yeah, running very Naruto style, that real quick. They have a dragon, they have a train, a dump truck, and a dog. Little tiny dog.
Theme is what?
That's actually where they're coming from with it. It's not going to be one thing. We're going to celebrate all the things.
All the things.
All the things.
So, what was this? I was also hearing about their 6th Ranger being so super westernized,
here's the
American.
Thing. Here's the thing you have to understand about shows being announced ahead of time. When it comes to things like Kamen Rider or Super Sentai, usually you find out a lot of the secrets of the show ahead of time through toy catalogs that get released ahead of time, because they want companies and toy stores interested. Hey, this is the merchandise we're going to have, better make room on your shelves, get ready for it. And so a lot of cases happen where suits and power-ups get revealed months ahead of time.
Deadeye Louie, there is a Pirate Sentai team. Go Kaiger, go find it.
Yes, awesome team. Which they adapted over here terribly as Super Mega Force, but
which had nothing to do with pirates. Anyway, back to what we were
going
saying.
back to this. So it's become a trend now with Super Sentai that when the show starts, really even before episode 1 airs, because of all the toy catalogs coming out, you end up finding out about the usual 6th Ranger that gets added on later on down the road, and what his powers are, his mech's gonna be, his weapon, things like that. So we've got stuff like, for the past couple of years, Tokyo 6, the orange one, Kyoryu Gold, we find out about them way before they show up, 18, 19 episodes before they show up. So here, really this past weekend, we got a look at the 6th Ranger for Ninninger, who is called Star Ninja. And I couldn't be more surprised to find out that this guy is a cowboy.
He's got a cowboy hat.
He's got a cowboy hat.
He's got a cowboy hat. He's wearing a serape.
He's wearing a serape and a bandana. And he's, his transformation device, now, granted, transformation devices get kind of wonky sometimes. Now, admittedly, you look at the picture of the Niningers here, you're looking at their transformation device. They transform using their swords, which is fine. You know, they're ninjas. It makes sense for them to have a sword. That's fine. That's cool. Other times, they use some sort of wrist device or some handheld device. You know, it changes from year to year. And then the Sixth Ranger has something kind of similar to that.
But not always the same
always the same thing. So, like we said, Star Ninja, this new cowboy guy...
So he transforms with a shuriken, right?
Well, yeah, there's a shuriken in it, but it's a hamburger. I'm not making this up. I am dead serious. This guy transforms using a hamburger. Now, I wish I could say there was no precedent for transforming with a piece of food, but if you go back to Shinkenger and you look at Shinken Gold, he used a cell phone which had a piece of sushi on the back.
Yeah, but that's not the same as a whole hamburger.
Yeah, that's not the same as a whole hamburger. And I'm posting a pic that way you guys can see it here. Some of you can. There he is right there. You tell me that doesn't look like a cowboy. So that tells me this guy's gonna be like hella either America obsessed,
or he came from America, or he spent time in America.
Now granted,
one of these things.
That's kind of a common thing that happens. You know, characters spend time in America.
That's happening right now in Kamen Rider Drive, right?
Yes,
a dude came back from America.
Yeah, Mock spent time in America, picked up some English, and then came back to be a Kamen Rider. So here, we're gonna have a character who I'd be willing to bet has spent some time in America. And I think, what does that say to you more? Is that, oh, America's still cool in Japan's eyes, or it's a character tick we throw out there?
It's kind of that, and this is now at least 4 times I have seen America as being characterized as being cowboys.
Yeah.
That this happens constantly, friggin' constantly. There's a character in Arcade Gamer Fubuki who is from America. She's specifically from Texas, so she's a cowgirl. The Sega Hard Girls, the Sega Hardware, they recently had an anime that was Seihagaga High School Girls. One of the characters that kind of like briefly shows up and then immediately disappears, she's designed as the Sega Genesis, and since the Genesis was an American-only console...
As opposed to the Master Drive.
The Mega Drive.
Mega Drive.
Or the Master System. No, Mega Drive. The Genesis is a cowgirl.
Yeah, she's got a cowboy hat and boots, and yeah, there it is.
And
it's
let's not forget G Gundam.
Chibbity
Crockett is very Western kind of guy.
Yeah.
What's her name from Digimon?
Mimi?
Mimi spent some time in America, came back dressed in cowboy hat and kind of tassels hanging off of her.
Yeah, tassels basically.
Yeah,
that's the technical
gloves
term.
And stuff, and I feel like Japan certainly stereotypes us.
A little bit.
And I think I've told you this story before. When I was in school in 2008 in Japan, and they started asking me in Japanese to start teaching me Japanese. They start asking, oh, where are you from? I say, I'm from America. Then they want me to specify, where in America are you from? They gave 2 responses, because I said Texas, and one response was, George Bush. And then the other response was, Texas? My teacher starts galloping in front of the galloping in front of the whole class full of Koreans and Chinese students and waving her arm over her head like it was a lasso.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That is exactly what they think we are.
Right. So, the thing I think is going to be interesting once the 6th Ranger shows up, which will probably be somewhere between episode 18 and 22, because that's usually where it about happens, it's going to be interesting to see this group of 5 that is very Japanese-based, because, ninja is ingrained there in the culture. People recognize that way better than they do over here. Let's get that straight. But then when we get to the 6th Ranger showing up, he's probably going to bring a very interesting dichotomy between, oh, we're very Japanese, you're probably going to be very American. and I imagine they're going to play that up to very comical effect. But I'm willing to bet, based off the trend that I have of, I like every other year of Sentai.
You'll probably like this one.
I'll probably like this one, because, you know, I liked Gokaiger, I didn't like Go Busters. I liked Kyoryuger, I didn't like Tokyuger. So this one, it's looking like I'll probably like. And admittedly, I like the designs from the opening theme. I've liked what I've heard from that. Their mech is interesting. It doesn't look incredibly clunky. There's probably a fair chance that this will make money, which also means Saban will adapt it over here. I mean, that's a pretty fair bet. Ninjas sell just as much as dinosaurs do over here.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're getting ready to start in 2 weeks. There's no word yet on which groups are officially going to be subtitling them, since, yes, that's kind of how we have to watch certain things. But yes, be on the lookout for these guys. It's going to be a new show. You can be on top of that right from the get-go 2 weeks from now.
Yay! Okay, let's go to our last story. We only have so much time for it.
Yeah, and it's kind of a big story.
Oops.
So...
Welcome back, Spider-Man.
Welcome back. Now, you remember last week I was talking about Sony's having to sell off stuff. Do you think they're going to sell off more stuff to make up for lost money?
Well, that happened. I mean, kind of, because it's not fully out of their grasp entirely, right?
Well, no, because they've
still a full sale back.
Well, no, because they've got Spider-Man, the character. They don't necessarily have everybody else back that was tied to him.
Right,
like, Sony's still doing their Sinister Six movie, apparently, so they've still got rights to the villain characters.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, people are just overjoyed. Like, I really do believe that part of this deal happened because of two things. One, Sony's ineptitude at business.
Right.
And then two, kind of the power of wishful thinking. Because if you were looking on the internet for the past, 2 months or more since the Sony leak happened, there was a story every other week about, talks are starting back up again. Talks are starting back up again.
And I was convinced that was just, like, friggin' wishful thinking.
That's what I thought. And the thing about it is, no, now it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now wheels are turning. Now Marvel's saying he's going to get his own solo movie in 2017. We've moved back some other titles to make room for him, and he is going to show up. We're working around the clock to get people to make sure he gets into Captain America Civil War.
The idea sort of came up last week, and I've seen a couple other people say it too, that, Marvel didn't need Spider-Man because they're doing well enough without him. Well, yeah, that's true. They're perfectly friggin' hella rich. They don't need him.
Under the Disney blanket, they've got more than enough giraffe money.
Yeah, but that's kind of not the point. The point is more like, well, now Spider-Man is back where he belongs, and now he is allowed to interact with all the characters he should have been allowed to interact with from the beginning, so that he's a more full character, a more rich character, in a bigger, more real, living, breathing universe.
Yes.
That is the point. Not how much money anybody's making.
Right. Now, the thing about it is, a lot of people, including, the companies involved, Sony or Marvel, are going to see this from a financial point of view.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, the last movie made money, but it didn't make the right amount of money, so we need to scrap this whole thing. And the current state of affairs here is that Andrew Garfield will not be reprising the role of Peter Parker, which I think, personally, is a huge mistake.
And, it's funny, I'm actually in agreement with you, but a lot of people disagree. And I think that's because they don't necessarily understand what kind of a character Spider-Man is supposed to be. Like, bad stuff happens to him, and yet he kind of jovially attempts to brush it off of his shoulder with jokes and hijinks, and he's kind of a younger guy, and he's supposed to be a lean sort of dude.
Right.
Andrew Garfield's character behaved just as Peter Parker was supposed to behave in comics.
Right.
I mean, otherwise, say what you will about his franchise being good or bad. You're allowed to have that opinion, but I think his characterization was way better than the previous iteration of Spider-Man.
Right, exactly. And thinking about it, too, is that the idea that the first time people will see him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is for Civil War. Mm-hmm. Now, if you've ever read Civil War, or heck, if you even played, I think it was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, where you kind of get a taste of that, Spider-Man is a huge part of that story. He's the crux on which your weight of, okay, do I side with Iron Man and pro-registration of superheroes, or do I go towards, Captain America's side and do the right thing? Like, he's right there in the middle of it. And a big chunk of the story comes from the fact that Peter reveals his identity to the world. Now, they're saying that they want to go with a much, much younger Spider-Man. And the question that I've had this conversation I've been having with a lot of people this week is that if he's a young, fresh out of high school, again, Spider-Man, what relevance does he have in a Marvel universe that we've never seen him in? If he's a just starting out Spider-Man, it won't matter if he reveals his identity.
Nobody's gonna care.
Nobody's gonna care. The reason in the comic it had weight was because he had been Spider-Man for years. So my wishful thinking, I would guess, is that you should get Andrew Garfield to come back, but don't play him, 19, 20, or however young you were playing him in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Have him play his own age, 31. A Spider-Man who's a little more seasoned, but he's not an old man. He's Spider-Man, not Spider-teenager who says he's man.
Fresh out of high school, going into college man.
Because this is the other thing people are talking about. We don't need another origin story.
Nobody wants another origin story.
The best quote...
I was pissed that we were getting another origin story with this iteration of Spider-Man. I was like, we don't need it.
I know. And the best comment I've heard all week was over on somebody reblogging from Tumblr. I swear, if they're doing another origin story with Spider-Man, I swear I'm gonna shoot Uncle Ben myself this time. And I get the sentiment. I emulate that sentiment because we don't need it anymore. We've had it. We've got it. It's in the consciousness. We can go forward.
Dude got bit by a spider, and he's got relationship problems. Thank you.
Yeah, we got this. We got this. Now, the other thing to consider that some people are bringing up, and I think it's worth mentioning here, is that, well, if we're getting Spider-Man back, there's some other characters that do come with him. We get another Aunt May, we get another Uncle Ben, and really the one that people are waiting on, we get, hopefully, J. Jonah Jameson back. And people are saying, well, J. Jonah Jameson isn't J. Jonah Jameson unless you get J.K. Simmons to play him again.
Honestly, he had to have been the best part of that original Spider-Man trilogy from 10 or however many more years ago.
Now, don't shortchange him for a second. Even if he's got Oscar buzz right now, up and running for an Oscar for Whiplash, which he was amazing in.
Yeah.
He has said,
good movie.
He has said multiple times, I would come back and play J. Jonah Jameson. And it's like, okay, well, come on, let's...
yeah, why are we not signing the paperwork right now?
Yeah, like, he was the best part of that movie. He embodied that character to a T. He still plays the voice of J. Jonah Jameson on Ultimate Spider-Man now.
Okay, so aside from another Spider-Man movie, this means pushing back other Marvel movies that were already in development.
Right, they pushed back Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Thor Ragnarok, and I want to say they pushed back Inhumans as well, but several movies got the push back, and some people...
Did you say Black Panther?
Black Panther, yeah. Black Panther got pushed back. And the thing is, some people are getting mad at that, like, no, these are all the progressive movies we wanted to see. You're pushing them back. No, we wanted to see that. But the thing about it is, that you have to take into account, Black Panther's pushback puts him at a summer date.
Which means he's going to be a summer blockbuster.
And I think
this is going to be good for Black Panther.
Yeah, that's going to be great for Black Panther. He gets to be a Marvel tentpole in the summer, where you want him to shine. Marvel tentpoles in the summer, it's like, oh, well, we can't compete with a Marvel summer movie. Forget that. I'm going to move my movie somewhere else. And, in that sense, it's a great thing to deal with. What I don't like about it is, yeah, we're going to have to recast when we really don't have to, because I absolutely hate it when people blame the failure of a movie on an actor. There's very rare cases where that actually happens, like, say, along with other things, like, say, Green Lantern, where it wasn't just Ryan Reynolds' performance, it was the writing, the visual is everything. There are more things that go into a failing comic book movie than just the dude you cast as the main character.
Right.
And I don't think it's fair to say, oh, well, Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man the last one and that didn't do good. Get rid of him because it's his... Like, that's scapegoating. That's cinematic scapegoating, and I don't think it's wise. And really, yeah, Marvel's probably going to come up with somebody, they're saying, who is it, Logan Lerman is the front runner right now. But yeah, people are also saying... we'll bring in Miles Morales. People want Miles Morales. We want, ethnicity. We want to expand out, not just these all-white superheroes. Bring in Miles Morales. But the thing about it is, it's the same sort of deal. Yes, I don't have a problem with Miles Morales at all. He's a great character. But the thing about it is, if it's a young Miles Morales who just became Spider-Man, it's the same argument. He hasn't been Spider-Man long enough for him to matter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You would have had to have done a solo movie before Civil War, but that's not the way it works here. Unless you're going to make that solo movie some sort of a flashback. And I don't think they're going to do that. So that's why I think they're not going to go with Miles Morales, as much as we like to think that. If they do, hey, I'll be surprised just as much as the next guy.
Then we all win.
Well, yeah, then in that sense, we'll all win. Because, yeah, we'll get a diverse, cast out there. And, yeah, people are saying, well, yeah, this is Donald Glover's chance. Let him get in there. But it's like, yeah, but Donald Glover's a little too old to play Miles Morales at this point.
Yeah,
he's about as
probably.
old as Andrew Garfield is now. And Miles Morales, if I'm not mistaken, starts out as Spider-Man at like 14, 15. So it's kind of hard to believe Donald Glover now as a 15-year-old. Like, yeah,
that would be too old. Agreed, that would be way too old.
Oh no, I will say this on camera. I will raise hell if they get Jaden Smith to play Miles Morales. Nobody would agree with that, except maybe his dad. But nobody would agree with that.
But he doesn't get a job without his dad anyway, so...
Yeah, and his dad's in a DC movie, so I think...
Nope, that's
I
not
hope
gonna
we're
happen.
safe. I hope we're safe.
I think we're safe.
Yeah.
So I think we have run this about as long as we can run it.
I think so, yeah.
Alright, so that's going to be the end of the core part of this episode here on Hitbox. If you guys are here with us live right now, then congratulations, you're going to get to sit with us for another half an hour, and we're going to just chat back and forth with each other and do a Q&A session. If you're not with us live right now and you're on YouTube...
Why aren't you here right now?
You
Come on.
should be down here Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Central, and you can be live with everybody else here in the chat, and then come do Q&A with us afterward. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. But if you can't do that, you can always talk to us during the week over on Twitter, send us stories, things like that. I'm at Josh Knight First.
And I'm at Mars Girl.
So that having been said, that's been this week's episode of Beyond the Black Rims. We will see you guys next week.
Night.